Good morning, everyone. We wholeheartedly thank each one of you for joining this webinar organized by Telangana American Telugu Association. TTA was formed by a few like-minded people who were led by Dr. Paila Mallareddy Garu, a billionaire entrepreneur, a humble and harmonious person, a good Samaritan who does not any opportunity to help someone. We express our deepest gratitude to Mallana Garu for creating this wonderful TTA family. We take this opportunity to thank our dynamic president, Vamshi Reddy Garu, and visionary president-elect, Naveen Reddy Garu, for their able leadership. We extend our special thanks to advisory committee members, executive committee members, board of directors, and thank them all for their priceless contributions in various capacities round the year for TTA. Last but not least, we welcome our TTA members, guests joining the webinar today from all corners of the world. Myself, Deepika Reddy Nalla, serving as social media co-chair, will be the moderator of today's webinar. Now, I would like to invite President Naveen Reddy Garu to speak to us.
I would like to thank Paila Mallareddy Garu for creating this platform. Major support system of TTA is AC, EC, and BODs and RVPs. I would like to thank each one of them for their unconditional efforts. We are grateful for Dr. Vani Garu presence here and looking forward to an insightful and engaging webinar. Dear members and guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar by TTA. As the president-elect of this esteemed organization, I am honored to have the opportunity to thoughts on the important education at TTA. At TTA, we strongly believe that education is the foundation of every society. It is a key to unlock one's potential and enable them to create a better future for themselves and their communities. I hope that today's webinar will be an enlightening and inspiring experience for everyone present here. Let us come together to discuss and explore how we can work towards promoting education and creating a better tomorrow for all. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Deepika.
Thank you, Naveen Reddy Garu, for your valuable words. We truly appreciate them. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker, Dr. Vani Gaddam Garu. She is a passionate educator and a motivational speaker. She received her BSc, B.Ed, MSc, and M.Ed from Usmania University and briefly served as school assistant at Jilla Parishad High School in Nizamabad district. She then came to US to pursue her PhD in education and graduate assistant. She started teaching undergrad classes for pre-service teachers at Utah State University. After accomplishing her doctorate degree, she moved to New York and taught middle school and high school sciences in public schools of New York City. While serving as a full-time teacher, she simultaneously pursued another master's in school supervision and school district administration from City University of New York. She then moved on to serve as an assistant principal of operations at Public High School, where she took on the responsibility of supervising the guidance department. Later on, she served as a teacher evaluation specialist, where she observed hundreds of classroom teachers' instruction and then gave them feedback on improving their pedagogy and classroom participants. She also worked as a county administrator, supervising before and after school activities in Putnam County, Tennessee. She worked as a professor and academic advisor, serving hundreds of students each semester at Tennessee Tech University. Having seen full spectrum from a balcony view of pre-K through university, she now passionately guides students, motivating them to dream big and reach them their highest potential. She is a true embodiment of lifelong learning and serving Thai community. An opportunity to hear her perspective of higher education is rare privilege. So I'm thrilled and honored to introduce Dr. Vani Gaddam Garu to our audience. Without further ado, I now request our speaker, Dr. Vani Gaddam Garu, to address the topic of today's webinar. We will stay muted until her presentation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop all the details in the chat box. We will have Q&A after her presentation. Thank you all. Vanika.
Thank you, Deepika, for that grand introduction of me. Appreciate it. Namaste, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank TTA leadership for creating a wonderful platform like this for knowledge sharing. And my special thanks to Executive Director, Dr. Divakar Chandyangaru, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all today. I thank each and every one of you. I see that there are 200 plus participants already. I really thank each and every one of you for taking your time to join the webinar today. The breadth of today's topic is vast, and the landscape of higher education in US is ever-changing and ever-evolving. It is hard for even full-time professionals in the field like me to keep up with the changing trends, requirements, rankings, and everything else that goes on in this process. Today, I'll give a brief review of the high school graduation requirements, college admission requirements, college choices, and then talk about what we as parents can do to help our children to successfully navigate through this process and get to their most deserving college to lay a strong foundation for their bright future. So let's start the PowerPoint. The first one.
So just one.
Let's share the presentation. So today's focus is going to be high school and beyond, typically college admission process too. So
maximize that, the green button. Yeah.
Second slide.
Yeah.
Thank you. So to begin with, for parents, most of them who did their high schooling and education back home in India, we need to understand there are two different requirements. When our kids are in school, there's one set of requirements that the high schools require to graduate from high school. But the colleges require a little more than the high school graduation requirements. So that's where the confusion comes in, where the parents are always lost, like, okay, they think volunteering is required by high school. It's not required to graduate from high school. It's not required by like internships or research is not required by the high school to graduate, but it's definitely required or appreciated when you're applying for colleges, because college application asks you to list at least 10 different things that you have accomplished in the 4 years of high school. So what you can actually put on your graduation application starts after 8th grade. But the journey to get to your dream college should begin way before that. So in US, education is like a state-based, it's based on the state legislation. Just like in India, back home, we have education is under the control of the states, not the central. So all the legal, whatever actions they have to take, everything depends on which state you are in. And the high school graduation requirements are also decided by the state board. So they're slightly different from state to state. Like in Tennessee, they require half a credit in personal finance, but it's not required in Georgia. So there's slight variations. Some states require just 22 credits. Some states just require 3 credits in math and 3 credits in science. Some, like in Georgia, they need 4 and 4 credits. That means all 4 years of science education and math education. So from state to state, whichever state you are in, these requirements change and they're easily available. You can just Google them and see what are high school requirements in so-and-so state. And so credits are 1 year of coursework gets you 1 credit. But in New York, it used to be when I was working there, like the whole year gets you 2 credits. So each semester gets you a credit. That means their graduation requirements are 44 credits. But that's nothing like, oh, they require more. No, it's just the way they calculate how many credits per semester. So That's the easy part, because this information you can get from your student, you can get from the guidance counselors. And then within those requirements, let's say 23, there are some credits that are called core credits, which are absolutely must to graduate from high school. And the other ones are called electives. That's where here in Georgia, they call them pathways. Somewhere else, they're called something else. But the electives, this is another area that throws off most Indian parents, because they think this is going to decide their future, because that's how it works back home in India. If you major in MPC, then you can only become an engineer. If you major in BPC, the only track you have is biological sciences, the medical science. But here it's very different from what we have back home. So you need to understand that whatever electives they take, they have no consequences to it once they get to college. They can absolutely do something from the scratch again. And most of these elective credits don't transfer to universities. Whereas the IB courses, AP courses, the dual enrollment, they carry forward to colleges. So I'll get to that in a minute. There are 3 different exams you keep hearing about when your students are in high school: the PSAT, the preliminary SAT, the SAT, and then ACT. So the PSAT exam, again, PSAT and SAT are designed by College Board, which is like our Central Board of Secondary Education, CBSE, ICSE. So in the same way, here in US, College Board is the board that actually comes up with the curriculum for AP courses, and also it's the same board that designs the PSAT and SAT courses, SAT exams. So the PSAT students can take, it's an option to take in the 10th grade, but the SAT is a must. Sorry, but PSAT is a must in 11th grade. So they have to take that in the 11th grade, and it is a very crucial test in terms of the weightage given to the schools and the schools' ratings. So it's required by every student in the United States, all 50 states and private schools, magnet schools, everything, unless some religious-based schools, if they get an exception from their state or whichever board can clear those exceptions. Unless you're in a school, a Christian missionary school, where they have a waiver to not take the PSAT or exam, you have to take it, like your students have to take it. And then, so the PSAT is the actual National Merit Scholarship deciding. It's the qualifying test for the National Merit Scholarship. Most of the students, they take this test, but they don't know why they're taking it, because usually it's not explained in the high schools, and they take it very light. There is not much prep they put into, but the actual perk of it, like the National Merit Scholarship, is only like $2,000 per year, which might not seem big for students who are aiming to go to Ivy Leagues or the top tier or top 50 colleges. But most, like there are few schools, few universities here that actually give full ride scholarship if you make it to National Merit Scholarship. If you are a National Merit Scholarship finalist, most colleges welcome you with a full ride, means all tuition paid. And then they, in fact, they give you money for additional money, like $2,000 to buy a laptop and some other expenses. And if you're out of state, they even actually offer free boarding. So it is a very important test, which most of our students do not know, because it's based on the PSAT. And remember, PSAT that they take in 10th grade will not be considered. It's just a practice SAT test. They can score, they can become the qualifier, but it's of no use. But I still encourage my students to do it, because it gives them a clear picture of where they stand, for how much to prepare for the next year, which is 11th grade. It's a must test. And when they score good on that one, they qualify for National Merit Scholarship. And like I said, there are a lot of perks for National Merit Scholarship finalists. So you have to definitely try to encourage your students to prepare for it and take it seriously. And then SAT and ACT, these two are either or. You don't need both of them. You can either take SAT or ACT. They're graded on different scales. SAT test is scored on a score of 1600, and it only tests in English and math. But ACT has a science component to it, and the score is on a scale of 36. So they score anywhere between 12 and 36 on ACT. So both these tests, because of COVID, a lot of colleges went score blind, means they don't, they said, even if you didn't take the test, you can apply. You're not going to look at the scores, but I still always emphasize that it is important. It is important, and I encourage the students to take it because it actually is a platform or is another opportunity for students to actually create a distinction between themselves and thousands of other applicants. So SAT or ACT, they get to pick, but how do they pick? So parents didn't take those exams. So how do they guide their students about which test to take? So the simple thing is just get the practice SAT tests and practice ACT tests. Every library has hundreds of copies of these, or you can order them from Amazon. They're not very expensive. So just encourage your child to sit and take a practice test, and you can ask me when is a good time. It's never too early. They can actually take the practice test right after 8th grade or even end of 9th grade. Because most of our students are already on the accelerated path in math, and English, majority of the English requirements are done by 9th grade or at the most 10th. Most schools here don't recommend taking it until 11th grade, but I have, in my own experience, I've seen students taking it in 9th, 10th and acing the test. So there is no need to worry about when to take, because they can take as many times as they want to, and there is no penalty for taking it more times. So they just need to sit and take a couple of practice tests in both the tests and score them, because the score guide is right behind those tests. They can score, they can see which ones they're doing better in, and which ones feel easy or more friendly to them, and then just put all their time to study for that one test. So studying for both tests is not recommended because it's waste of time that they could actually use that time building some other skill set or building up their resume, doing other activities. So I typically say pick one and put your effort into that. And there is, people ask me which one is easier. There is nothing like that. Which one is more preferred by the colleges? There is nothing like that. If there are any myths spreading that, oh, ACT is harder, that's not true. If there is any myth spreading like SAT is more accepted by colleges, that's not true, because either or, all colleges take either or. So PSAT is the one that they take for National Merit Scholarship. And also this data is used for school rankings. So in the big picture, it actually impacts their school that they are attending. And then moving on to IB, AP, and I'm sorry if I feel like I'm rushing, but there is so much information that I want to cover. Like I said, the breadth of the topic is vast. So IB is International Baccalaureate Program. AP is Advanced Placement. Dual enrollment is local universities offering college credits to high school students in their local area. And they have an agreement with the state. So whatever tests whatever courses they take, they can immediately transfer smoothly without any additional process. They can just send the transcript, and with no questions asked, all the credits are given to the students at these state colleges. So if a student, so again, everything boils down to what is the big picture? What does our child want and what is their potential? So two things I always emphasize to the parents. Whenever you are thinking about this, please think about the big picture. Do you want to send your child to Ivy League's top tier, top 100 colleges? Do you want them to attend in-state? Or do you want them to do both? Then you have to, if you're thinking I'm open, then they have to, in their mind, they have to think like they're preparing for Ivy Leagues, because that's the highest set of expectations that they have to try to meet. And then everything else will fall in place if they're doing everything right.
Hello. Slide is not moving.
IB, AP, dual enrollment. I'm still there. We'll move it right after this point, but thank you. So dual enrollment is ideal if your child wants to go to a state college, like within the same state, if they're planning to take, because weightage wise, GPA weightage wise, they're all weighted the same. IB, AP, and dual enrollment courses typically, again, this decision is based on the county county education officers sit and decide this. So it varies from county to county, not at the state level. So sometimes you need to verify that with the like your guidance counselors can easily give that information, or your school website will list that information. So IB, AP, and dual enrollment, they're all weighted on a 5.0 scale, whereas the regular courses that the schools offer, they're weighted on a 4.0 scale. So overall, if our children take more of IB and AP or dual enrollment courses, their GPA will be more than 4.0. So on a 4.0 scale, if they get all A's, they get 4.0. But if they take these courses, their GPA goes above 4.0. And that is actually more attractive to the colleges. So they do look for students that go above and beyond. So I always highly recommend students to take at least 3 to 5. And a maximum of 8 to 10. There is no point in pushing. There are like students that take 15, 20, but then they're overloaded with the coursework and they do not have time to build the other sections of their application. And colleges typically look for a holistically developed child. A student who can play sports, a student who is actively participating in various clubs, a student who is actively leading something, initiatives, their own initiatives, a student who does a lot of voluntary services in their community. So colleges are looking for not just the coursework and the SAT and ACT scores. They are looking for more than, I'm talking about the top 100 colleges. If you don't aspire to send your children to those, then you don't have to pack their schedules so tight, because again, there is always the right college, no matter what, where our students are, what their potential is, there is a right college for them. It is, as parents, it is our responsibility to watch them and also get feedback from the teachers, guidance counselors, any other outside coaches that they're working with. Get the feedback, try to understand where they are, and try to nudge them, like slowly, little bit, push them to do little better, one step at a time. You cannot expect, the goal is not to send all our kids to Harvard or Yale or Princeton. So that's not the goal. But there are students who are capable of getting there, and they might be lazy and or lack of guidance. So that's where our role comes in. So these are the things we need to keep in mind when you're pushing your kids to take IB, AP, dual enrollment. Dual enrollment courses are typically not that difficult. Kids can easily handle them. So they can take, but there is a limit on how many they can take. Each state offers a different number of courses for free or a nominal fee, which is money savings for the parents, because once they go to college, these credits already transfer. And there is a actual upper limit. 120 credits is what they need in their undergrad. So if they take from high school 30 to 60 credits, parents have to just pay for the rest 60 credits. So that's a huge financial benefit if you already know that your child is going to a in-state college. So everything is if, and you always have to see the big picture, your kid's potential, and then plan accordingly. So I always say, what is the end goal? What are we wanting for our child, and what is the child also wanting? What is this? What is our student wanting to? Is it matching with our goals? If it doesn't, then it's a daily struggle at home. So be very careful. Talk to them. Communicate on a regular basis. Get to know your students' strengths and weaknesses. Try not to push them too hard if they're anxious and if they are on the verge of the breakdown. I say, take a step back, relax, because there's so many options in this country. There's so many. And once they get to 20, 25, if they think at that age, if they feel like, hey, I made a mistake, I want to go back and put myself back to college and get on this medicine path or something else, this country welcomes them with open arms. There are so many universities, so many opportunities. I'm not saying that's the best route for everybody, but I'm saying if there is a vulnerable student somewhere, and you can sense that this is happening, then just step back and just ask them what they want, because the easiest college to get in, Deepika, can we please move into the next slide? So there are college choices for parents, which there is another slide about it. But community colleges are 2-year colleges where the tuition is very minimal. And most of the times, if the students maintain a 3.0 GPA, they can go free to college, like absolutely at no cost to the parents. No educational loans. And once they finish the 2-year associate's degree at the community college, they can always transfer back to, like, top colleges also accept transfer students, state colleges, especially like Georgia Tech in Georgia. If they do very well, and if they can actually present themselves in a way like they're going to be an asset to Georgia Tech, absolutely. The chances of them getting into Georgia Tech is very high as a transfer student. So we need to remember these things and encourage our students
I
based
have a
on where
question.
they are
Sorry
and
to
where
disturb
they
you.
want to be and where we want them to be. We need to think about that big picture and make the decisions. So, Deepika, can we move to the next slide, please?
One moment, please.
Why you can't able to do?
Hey, hi. I have a question. Can I ask?
Please post them in the chat box, and I'll get to them right after the presentation. I know this presentation will have a lot of questions because every household has kids, and that is the primary concern of all parents. Like, how do our kids fare well in their school system?
Vani, can you share the next slide? Vani can do it.
Yeah, I make it as a co-host, Vani. So
Sorry.
Why is it not working on my end?
Sorry for technical issues. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. My slide is not moving. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I
but
got
you
it.
have to be in a share, your screen share.
Yes, yes. No, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Mhm.
So moving forward with the second, are you able to see me?
No, we are not able to see we are seeing on introduction page.
Oh, you're not able to see this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or else someone can share to me. I will.
So while Deepika, can you share Bhaskar Garu?
No, I don't have that PPT.
One moment, Andy. I'll just take care. Sorry for the technical issues.
It's not working from my end.
Madhu, take down the questions, the orders which we posted at the end of the session. We will read out and get the answer from Vani Garu. Sure, Bhaskar. So, or else someone can share it to me. Deepika, I will handle in case.
Come and share this quickly.
Yeah.
It's freezed.
Oh, is it?
Going. Can you see
Just a
now?
sec.
Can you see my screen now?
No.
No,
Yeah,
just a sec.
No, select on the top, select the screen. You can select whichever the screen you want. It will showing right now. Deepika's screen is sharing. So you can select the Vani Gadam's screen share, then you will see her. I can see your screen share.
Just a suggestion.
I think
if it is,
Deepika can stop sharing so that Vani, by default, Vani's screen share will be available for everyone.
Okay.
Deepika, you can stop sharing.
I think
right, unshare that. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
screen is freezed. So
There is no complete
Yeah,
presentation.
now we are able to see. Yeah.
but just one moment.
Sorry for
Go
technical.
to, yeah,
Thank you.
go to third screen.
So moving on to college admission requirements, we have, like I said, I just covered the GPA and ACT and SAT scores. So keep this analogy in your mind. You go to a bakery, you see hundreds of different cakes. They're so prettily decorated, but the must required part of that is the fully baked cake. So the GPA, high school GPA, and the ACT or SAT score, I always look at it as the baked cake. And then all the extracurricular activities are the decorations to make it more appealing. You definitely need those. Those two are non-compromisable, non-negotiable. You 1 or 2 Bs throughout the 4 years is absolutely fine. Like it doesn't hurt that much. But if you get a lot of Bs and Cs and you expect to get into top tier colleges, that's not going to happen without the required for most of the colleges, the top tier ones, they expect at least a 3.8 GPA, but nobody gets admitted with the 3.8 GPA unless again, everything is conditional here. If their extracurriculars are so strong, then yes, with a 1480, 1510 SAT score or a 32 on ACT plus the 3.8 GPA, they still manage to get into these top colleges. But what are those extracurricular activities and at what level does that accomplishment need to be? That's the next question. Sports is a different ball game. Every university has a sports quota, just like back home, reservation. And the sports candidates recruiters it's a total different department, every university, because they want varsity basketball, varsity baseball, varsity, like universities thrive and flourish on sports here. So that's a whole different track. And you really, really need to be extremely good. And they really don't look at your, unless you're looking at the Ivy Leagues in the top 20 colleges, usually they don't weigh in as much on your academic GPA and SAT scores. If you're extremely good, you get into the university through the side door. And that extremely good is when the recruiters come, when the coaches come, you have to be at the outstanding level. And honestly speaking, I've yet to come across one of my students who got into that track. So I'm not trying to discourage, but it's very, very difficult. Maybe a couple of tennis students, but other than that, I have never even heard of any of our students get through that side door. It's typically for like basketball, football, those students, from other races, they stand high chance, just like we stand high chance when it's purely based on academics. So again, when college admissions officers look at your application, they see, oh, this student has participated in 12 clubs. Will that add more weight? Maybe not. They look at like district level awards or state level competitions. Maybe yes. Let's say they value or rank the extracurricular activities on a scale of 1 to 4. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. Tier 4 is typically most of the activities that we are engaging our students in, and we don't realize that. Most of our Indian students nowadays easily are managing to get a 4.5 GPA, 4.5 or even plus. And then they're also managing to get 34, 35, 36 perfect scores on ACT or 1540 plus on SAT or 1600 perfect score on SAT, but they're still getting rejection after rejection. First thing, one thing, like there are several factors in this. One of the factors is the college pool is changing because they don't want to have 100% Asian or Indian population on any university campus. We have to accept that. They, just like we back home have different kinds of reservations, unspoken here also, they have reservations for rural areas. They have reservations for differently abled students. They have reservations for different skill set that they bring to the table. Most colleges are actually looking for students who are holistically developed, and they look at an application and say, hey, what can this student come and how can they enhance our college community? What addition can they add to our college community? How can they enrich our student population? So they're also selfishly looking for students who can come and make a positive impact on their campus. And also they want to see who has the potential to succeed past this undergrad, who has the potential to go for further education or become entrepreneurs, because most of the universities here depend on alumni endowments, the donations, the millions of dollars that pour in from these alumni. So this is a big picture. So what I'm talking about is the big picture. So nobody talks about this in the high schooler. So whenever you're planning something, please keep this in mind, because they are looking for students who can enrich their student body on the campus and also who can go beyond. So it's not just the high school GPA and ACT and SAT scores. They're looking for something beyond. So all the sports our kids play, the swim teams, all of that typically are tier 1. On a scale of tier 1 to tier 4, where tier 4 is highly ranked, or sorry, it's a reverse order, but doesn't matter if you get the meaning of it. So the tier 1 is the top one, tier 4 is the bottom one. Most of our activities are typically ranked at the tier 4 level, unless they go to state level, national level. And then if they actually go for international competitions, and if they win in those international competitions that are well known, not just an international competition that happens somewhere in some country where nobody knows and no one knows that organization, but it's just somebody conducting it to generate some funds for that organization, then that actually again is ranked at tier 4 or tier 3. So remember, not every international competition that they call international is truly international. So it has to be a well-known organization that is conducting these competitions. And if they win in those, like spelling bee, if our kids win in the spelling bee, whichever college they apply to, it's you can expect a default admission, because that speaks volumes. That action or that accomplishment speaks volumes about that student. They don't need to show just any more GPA or ACT, SAT, this sport, this club, I did this volunteering here. They don't, because it's a supernatural accomplishment, because it's, we all know how difficult it is to actually be a spelling bee champion, or even a participant, or even top 100 is weighted a lot more, because it's a well-known organization, a well-known competition. And once a student claims, it's easy for them to verify too. Any admissions officer can sit there and Google it, and it pops up. So these are the things that are tier 1 accomplishments. And so I'm not just saying this is the only one. I'm saying there are plenty of such fields where they can actually rise up to that level. And only then you can expect a default admission in majority of these top tier colleges. Otherwise, always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan, because that will help. And then research, internships. Some students publish papers while they're in 10th and 11th grades. They go to your local university campuses, approach the professors. They do research weekly, twice a week, or thrice a week, or even weekends. They spend the entire weekends in those labs doing research, and they publish in international journals. If those journals are internationally known, then you can again expect it to be ranked at a tier 1. So your goal should be to coach, to encourage, to motivate your child to go beyond, above and beyond, not just participating in tennis, going for Bharatanatyam classes, swimming. I'm not undermining this. Please do not get me wrong, but there is a lot more that the colleges are actually expecting from our students now, because there is so much competition. Every college, like there are 25,000 plus high schools in the United States. And the incoming freshman group is typically 2,000 to 4,000 students at all of these top colleges. And there are, if you just Google your favorite college and look for acceptance rate, if the college acceptance rate is less than 10%, that means for every 100 applications, they're only accepting 10. And you can imagine most of the students that apply there are 4.0s and or above 4.0s and perfect scores. So even if they have perfect score on SAT, and do not expect students to be accepted at these top colleges, because they have to go above and beyond. Now, moving on to college choices. Like I said, community college is a 2-year college. Every state has these community colleges. It's not for everybody. If your student is above average and easily breezing through high school and has promise for top 100 colleges, please do not encourage them to community college, because the tuition is free. I highly recommend them sending them to 4-year college. But again, if your students struggled through for whatever reason, health reason, mental health reason, there are so many things that happen in life. It's life. Unexpected things have to be expected. So when your child had certain episodes, please do not get depressed or do not think their future is gone. You can start with a community college. That's why I put it up there. The next one is state colleges. In-state colleges are the best ones for students who did fairly well, like 3.5 to 4 point between that, and they were participating in few clubs, but not as leaders, or so then they stand a good chance of getting into state college. Again, another tip I want to give parents is, like the parents of current 11th graders, please remember, pick a college that your student wants to go desperately or really loves to be there. And if there is one college like that, then do everything you can by August of this year and just apply ED, early decision. Again, there is so much about this stuff, early decision, early action, regular action. There are several different ways you can apply it to colleges, but early decision, ED, if you can remember this, ED actually improves the chances of your student getting into their dream college. That is the only other way to be guaranteed to. That is like a contract. You are telling your student is applying there and saying, hey, if you give me admission, I'm not going to apply to any other colleges and I will commit to coming to your college. So because there is so much dropout rate, attrition rate after getting admitted, they say, oh, I chose the other college. Colleges also want to pick good students from a bigger pool early on and be assured that at least 65 to 70% of their students are already committed to coming to their college. So that's one window of opportunity for our students to just go ahead and do ED for their dream college if there is one. And the chances of them getting in early are higher or accepted are higher. Otherwise, if they go into regular decision, then the pool becomes bigger. And because the college also doesn't know if they give you admission, whether you will take it or not, they might or might not consider your application. The next one is private colleges. There are several private colleges. The tuition is, and there are some top private colleges. Actually, a lot of us do not know that Stanford is not Ivy League. MIT is not an Ivy League. Caltech is not an Ivy League, but these are a lot more standard colleges than the regular Ivy League, the 8 colleges, Ivy League colleges that are very popular amongst Indian population. So there are so many other colleges, Pomona College, Harvey Mudd in California. There are several different private colleges that offer highest quality education and put our students on a high pedestal. So if you can afford to pay the tuition, you should definitely consider applying to those private colleges because they usually do not give, most of these Ivy League colleges as well do not offer merit scholarships. Merit scholarships, because their rationale is everybody that we admit is a meritorious student. We cannot give scholarships to all 100% of our students. So therefore, they do not offer merit scholarships. They only give few need-based scholarships. And need-based is, again, if the parental household income is less than 125,000, most of these colleges offer free education to our students. Or if in some states, I think it's less than 100K together, household income. But some parents ask me, oh, if I quit my job 2 years before, can my student get into that? No, do not take that risk because colleges just don't look at the scores and W2. They also want students who are capable of paying their tuition. Most of these colleges depend on this tuition money to run their payrolls. So you might actually miss out on the opportunity because you quit your job because you are showing less, zero income on W2 might actually put your child at risk to get into that college. So do not, I do not advise that step. And then I'm going back to the previous slide. Okay. It's so college choices, again, you can consider depending on 3 things: your financial ability, your child's potential, and dreams. Like, what is your ultimate aspiration for life? Like, what do you want? Because if you have that big picture, then there are different steps. Like in this country, to get into medical school, you have to have an undergrad. To get into law school, you have to have a 4-year undergrad. So are you looking to get into a law school or medical school? See, for law school, which undergrad you attend matters the most. For medical school, it doesn't. So there are so many nuances that come into play when you're making these decisions. It is a challenge. Like I said, these requirements are humongous and the topic is vast, but I'm trying to cover the most important aspects that a parent would need in decision making. So as parents, what can we do? Parents' role: encourage kids to read from a young age. I cannot I emphasize more on this. Readers are leaders. So, which we did, like when I was growing up, I wish it was emphasized back home too. But I truly, after so many years, I lived in this country for 23 years, and I cannot emphasize more on the fact that you need to encourage your kids to read. All public libraries, some libraries let you borrow up to 100 books at a time. Get those books, put them everywhere in every room, so that those are the handy ones, and take your gadgets away from the students. Do not get your kids accustomed to gadgets, because that is addicting. And if a child is spending more than 2 hours on any electronic gadget, doing fun or games or anything non-enriching, non-academically enriching or knowledge improving activities, then take it for granted that that time lost is an lost opportunity. And we cannot buy back that time. And there is no way we can build the same skill set that somebody else has put in that time to build their skill set to apply to this top pool. So we need to realize that it is important that we are managing our kids' time well and teaching them as well to manage their time better. And one easy and important way to manage is to get the books from the library, may it be fiction, may it be non-fiction, whatever they're addicted or easy to, whatever is easy for them to read, or whatever they prefer to read, that's absolutely fine. Do not put a restriction on what to read and what not to read. Let them just start reading at a very young age, and keep encouraging them. There are so many series in this, in the school libraries, in the public libraries, that the kids once they get hooked, they get, it's very difficult to get them unhooked, which is wonderful. That's a blessing. So just to encourage, if there are young parents on this, in this webinar, please remember, encourage your kids to read books, and then engage them at a very early age. It's never too early. 4 years old, 5 years old, start exposing them to different musical instruments, sports, whatever they can, gymnastics, music, because then the primary purpose is to get them a taste of it, and look if they're enjoying it. Without your push, are they practicing it? Are they asking for it? And then give them like 4 to 6 months. If you see the spark in them, if you see that interest in them, and if you hear good feedback from their coach or teachers, if they are praising them extremely, because most teachers here say, they're doing good. And most of these are actually income generating activities for those teachers. So typically they give good feedback, but I want you to be in the picture. Don't just drop them off and leave and then come back to just for the pickup time. Try to be there, not every day, not every week, but try to watch them while they're doing that activity that you're investing your money in, and see if there is any spark, if there is any interest, if they have above average ability. After 6 months, if you see that they are showing not the average skill, but above average, then continue. If not, just move on to some other activity. You never know which one will strike that spark in them. So it's important that you actually show the, expose them to various activities and see how they are taking them or getting engaged in that activity. And then if they do well at a young age, then try to get other resources. What are other ways to improve your child in that particular field? Who are the experts? Reach out, try to get them one-on-one tutoring, coaching, whatever that is. I'm talking about the non-academic section, the extracurriculars. So just whatever that is, try to push them to pursue those talents. Spend your money there, because that distinction matters in the long run. And this is, all of this you cannot put on the high school application, but this is the foundation your student will be building upon while they're in high school years. They cannot start a club and become the leader or president. Like they cannot start participating in a club in 10th grade and then, or 9th grade, and say, oh, I don't like this, I want to try something else in 10th. Okay, they try something else in 10th. It's too late by then, because by then they miss out on the opportunity to become the leader of that club at that school, because they haven't put enough years in that club. So these are the things I want you to remember. I know we are running out of time. It's 12:20, but I'll take some questions now. Thank you very much for your participation today. Deepika, can you get me some questions so we can address some questions?
So, yeah, Deepika and Madhu, make sure you ask the questions, the order what we post, what we received. Yeah.
It's like we got many questions.
We'll go with it from the top and read one by one so that Vanigaru will give an answer on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so looks like somebody posted saying like how many AP courses are recommended in high school before getting into college?
I think 5 to 8, depending on the, again, potential of your student. Taking more than that might not add more value unless they are in the run for the valedictorian at that high school. That is the only other advantage I can see, that because they have to have the highest GPA to become the valedictorian. So I recommend, normally I would recommend 5 to 8, but if they're in the run for the valedictorian, then it's their choice.
Okay, thank you. And coming to next question, can you give more examples of tier 1 activities?
Yes, I've seen some interviews of students who got into Stanford, and a student actually developed a dictionary for daily language in Spanish, like how to communicate, and in a very precise, simple way. And she actually published it by the time she was in 10th grade, and everybody in her high school was using it, and she had evidence to show that. So it's not, okay, in the college applications, when you're saying you're passionate about, you have to show that you're passionate about something. But also remember, you cannot use the word I'm passionate, I really love to do this. It's not what you're saying, it's your actions that have to speak to the admissions officer. They have to interpret that, hey, this student is passionate. I can see that passion flowing in all these extracurricular activities, in the leadership activities they have taken up in this and in this and in this. So they have to see that, and it's up to them to, or they should be able to interpret that, not us saying, I'm very passionate in community service, I would like to do this. Yeah, that won't fly well.
Okay.
So the examples for tier 1, I'm sorry, Deepika. Yeah, there are so many, but right now, like in any field, it could be anything. And actually, if nobody else did anything, I think that will stand out. That application will stand out more than anything else to the admissions officers, and that guarantees. So pick a field that your student is passionate in. Like there is nothing, in Telugu, there is a word, Kadedi Anarham Kaviki. So there is nothing that doesn't fly as long as it's a constructive activity. Make sure it's constructive. It is useful. It's helpful to others or the person that's developing. It may not be helpful to hundreds and thousands, but at least it should be helpful to the person that developed it. So yes.
Okay, thank you on that. And coming to next question, what are the suggestions to students for high school internships, whoever trying for mid schools? Sorry.
For high school, can you repeat that question, please? Or
Yeah. What are the suggestions to students for high school internships, whoever are trying for med school?
Med school. Okay. So they have to reach out. First of all, they have to see what all community college campuses or university campuses that are available there. Just going to hospitals and volunteering for a week or two does not fly. It is again ranked on tier, like bottom tier. So that won't be as helpful. You can put, it will fill one of the spaces on their college application for those 10 activities, but more than that, it will not add any weightage to their application. And for it to add weightage, they have to go and shadow somebody and actually learn something and do something with it and then present it. So it's not something that you quickly do in 11th grade summer, the summer between 11th and 12th grade, slap it together and say, hey, I volunteered, and expect the college admissions officers to give some weightage to it. So it's beyond, take it beyond internships, watching. Mostly hospitals actually do not even let under 18 kids come and observe the operation theaters or anything. So that's not possible, and colleges also know that. So just do whatever is allowed, but go above and beyond other students. That's the key.
Thank you on that. And next question, any recommendations for summer internship in the area of finance, accounting, business, which they are planning to major in undergrad? Any good resources?
Within our community, Indian community, there are so many people that are entrepreneurs, businesses are there. Just reach out and ask if they can go. I'm not saying they should limit themselves to the Indian community, but I'm saying it is easy access. But you can actually, if a student researches and goes on any company's website and reaches out to them, I can guarantee 8 out of 10 times they get a positive response, because everybody loves a driven teenager. And everybody wants to encourage and motivate and do whatever they can to give that nudge to them to step up. So just reach out, and whatever department, whether it is finance, accounting, just reach out to people and say, hey, I'm willing to work for free. Can I come in to do this? And as soon as the student goes there, it's not just getting the foot inside. Once you put your foot inside, what are you doing with your time there? How productive are you in terms of learning, in terms of thinking about what product they can come up with, and also presenting it in a manner where the reader can find the passion in that student. All of this matters. Thank you.
Vani garu, I have one question, Andy. So
Sure.
the common question across all the chat. So people who are already in US and kids who are already, doing their education, early education in US,
Mhm.
have all these opportunities where they can go find good volunteering opportunities and all that. What about people who are doing their graduation in India, or parents who migrated from India to USA, maybe when the kid is in like 8th grade or after? So
Very good
what
question.
would be their chances?
Very good question, Andy. I agree. They are at a disadvantage to some extent, but again, if they're extremely driven, even if they come here in 8th grade or 9th grade, they can just say like what they did in these 3 years and write a brief description about how they were involved in their communities back home. So I agree, it's not something a college admissions officer can actually verify and rank them on the top tier of that extracurricular activities, but they have to do their best in terms of utilizing their time. And if their aspirations, if they're in India and if they want to come and apply here, then they have to work harder. They have to put in more hours. They have to not just work harder in academics, but also try to build their resume, because it's the story that you write about yourself. It's another analogy I want parents to remember. You have a backyard. You put all different seeds in it, flowers, plants, vegetables, everything in your garden. That is your kid. The land is your kid. All the resources, money that you're paying for their tutors, money that you're paying for their extracurricular activities, uniforms, this, that, whatever, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you name it, you're pouring all your energy, fertilizers, you're adding everything, right? So now the crop is up. Now, would you just pluck everything and put it in a bouquet and put it on the countertop in your house? No, you're very picky and choosy about which flowers, which leaves, and what looks good. Same thing. You do a lot of different activities in your life, because life, like you've lived 17 and a half years before you're applying. So you do, but you don't want to say, I did this, I did that, I did this, I jumped. No, when you present yourself like it comes across as inconsistent, not perseverant, you're not very perseverant. So no, you cannot do that. Although you did so many activities, you pick few out of those and elaborate on that, or present it in a thematic way that this connects to this indirectly. You don't write, this is how these should be connected, telling the admissions officer to read, how to read your application, right? You just present it in the activities, in the recommendations, it has to come up, in the essay, it has to come up. When they see it as a theme, that's when it appeals to the application admissions officer. But to get back to that question, they can do something like, I know a student who lived in India, he started alcohol prevention club. And in that village, he went and distributed a lot of brochure flyers, stopping them, and also took some testimonials and did a video of those wives and mothers who are now happy that their children quit. So this kid worked so many hours to put some songs together, like passionately trying to stop a community from alcohol addiction. And did he succeed 100%? No. Are the college admissions officers expecting 100%? No. But whatever, even if that child with his perseverance was able to change 5 people, that's a huge testimonial that this kid is driven, right? Passionate, committed to his dream, whatever he wants, he will put his mind and he'll get it done. So that's the, yeah. So I would recommend that. Just pick something that they're passionate about and put in hours and think, what evidence can I generate from all of these hours of effort that I'm putting in?
That's a great example, Andy. That's a great example. So there are a couple of other questions related to local admissions. Like, how do a student be considered as a local to a state? Like, what are the criteria? Example, they're very specific to Georgia or Texas, because these states have higher reservations for the local kids. So is there any condition or criteria that qualifies these students as locals?
Another
And also,
excellent question.
there's one
Madhav.
extended question, Andy. So is there any dual enrollment, or is there a way they can transfer their credits under dual enrollment criteria?
Okay. So yes, all of these state colleges are run on state tax money. We are all contributing in whichever state you're working, whichever state you're filing taxes, you're paying for those professors' payroll. So remember, they have to give preference to local students. So there is a person, just like in India back home, if you remember, 80-20, local, non-local, 85-15. There is not a stipulated percentage that is out there in the news, but they go with that ratio. Some states require them to have a minimum of 65% of their local students. Colleges do sneak in more students out of state if they can bypass the rule with showing why they need that student from outside, out of the state, because they do get more income. Out of state tuition is 3 times more than the in-state. International is 3 times, out of state is twice the amount as in state. So they do prefer out of state students also at every university campus, but states require that certain percentage of their student admission has to be based on the local. And the local, most states require 1 year of tax filings, not that you have a residence. They are not accepting just the proof of residence for local qualification. If the student graduates from a local high school, then default they're considered local. If not, if the student graduates from a different state and applying for, like, let's say the student graduated in Virginia and applying for institution in Georgia, then the Georgia state expects them to show their mothers or fathers. One of the parents have to be a working professional contributing for the state tax the year before. So if the student is applying, let's say this December for next fall, the parents' income tax for last year, not this year, because 2023 will not be submitted by the time the admissions decision is given out. So last year's 2022 tax returns matter. Yes, that's the only way they actually qualify for in-state. One of the parents' income has to be filed, income tax has to be filed from the Georgia state or Virginia. I think a couple of states require two years of residency. Means they have to live in that state for 2 years. They have to show the proof.
So one other question is there a way they can transfer their credits? So if
Absolutely.
there is a dual
Sorry.
enrollment.
Yeah, you asked that question before. So yes, they have to, most of the dual enrollment courses are automatically transferred. AP and IB courses, they have to score different universities. Like IB is rated on a scale of 7. AP is rated on a scale of 5. Most state colleges take it after, if they score a 3, 4, or 5, state colleges give the credit. Some top colleges give 4 or 5 only if they score on the final exam. If the student scores a 4 or a 5, a score of 4 or 5, only then the credit is given. And in top tier Ivy Leagues and top 20 colleges, none of these credits will transfer, and none of it is actually recommended. There's some, I want to correct that. Yes, AP credits and IB credits are given, but usually we don't recommend, because if they take very high level courses right away in these top level colleges, the academic rigor, the gap is very high, and the failing chances are high for the student. Failing means maybe even a C is bad, right? So we don't recommend that kind of jump from a small rural public school score of 5 and then just go and take like a higher level course at the university. We wouldn't recommend that. But yes, all dual enrollment courses, if they pass with a D or above grade, are transferred to college. Yes.
Got it. Thank you, Andy. So there is is there any separate criteria for medical students? So
okay, yes, medical program is a different ball game, because there are some colleges that are 8-year track. There are some colleges that are 7-year track. Actually, in this country, medical school is not like getting after intermediate, taking the MBBS exam and getting into MBBS now. So here, first, right after high school, like everybody else, they have to go into a 4-year undergrad and it's called a pre-med track. And pre-med track could be even civil engineering or chemical engineering. It does not matter. Everything is a pre-med track as long as they take all the credit. There are 12 courses that pre-med 12 or I have to look up again because these requirements change. But there is a set of courses that these students have to take for them to be eligible to take the MCAT. So for the MCAT is the medical school entrance exam. So after the 4 years, or actually after third year of college, the students start preparing for the exam and take the MCAT exam in the first semester of final year, so that they can be assured of a seat in the medical school after the final year. So 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of college, medical school, 8 years typically. And the GPA and all that matters the same way for any other coursework for this track too.
Thank you, Vani Garu.
How are we doing on the time?
Looks like we have a lot of questions, but let's go with the last two questions. Madhu Garu, could you please go ahead with one more question, Andy? Like last but one question. Madhu
Yeah,
Garu?
I am almost done with all my questions, Andy. I was just
Did you
clubbing
check
questions
did you
and
check the chat bar, Andy?
Vani, I would like to ask one question.
Sure.
So a lot of participants, they want to understand the process, how the education system in the US. Can you give some idea about from kindergarten to high school? What are the steps involved? Because everybody curious, because we came from India, we settled here. Everybody to understand what is middle school, what is high school. Can you give some idea about getting into the high school?
Sure. So K-12 is public education, and sometimes they call P-16, which is pre-K through university. So you will hear these two terms, K-12 in this US. K-12 is kindergarten through 12th grade. More encompassing is the P-16, pre-K through undergrad. So first, most Head Start programs start around 4 years of age. And typically in most states, it's free too. But in some states where there is more demand for pre-K seats, they charge based on the parental income. For low-income groups, it's free. But for parents who earn more than 100K household income, they have to pay a portion of it in the Head Start programs. After the Head Start starts pre-K. Pre-K is when they complete 4 years. So Head Start somewhere between 3 to 5, depending on the areas you live in, they name these different programs. So in the pre-K, kindergarten and first grade, the syllabus is almost the same. So the parents sometimes get, why are they teaching the same stuff? My child is getting bored. That's true. But nobody is stopping us from teaching them additional things at home. So that is when the parents have to utilize the time wisely by encouraging the kids to read books. Most kids, even my boys, finished reading Harry Potter by 2nd grade. So a lot of people think that, oh, Harry Potter is higher grades, let them read it in 4th grade, 5th grade. No, Diary of Wimpy Kids, every kid loves to read those books. So get them hooked to these easy books, like a lot of series actually. There are so many interesting series, so many fun books. Actually, I recommend mom and dad taking turns reading those books to them as a fun activity, even if it is just 20 minutes. It is such an important thing to bond with our child from a very young age and also utilize that time together to construct their skill set. So there is nothing better. It's like very relaxing activity. I highly recommend that. And that is from pre-K and then kindergarten. So mostly elementary schools here are kindergarten to 5th grade. So in some states like Tennessee, kindergarten through 4th grade. In some states, it's kindergarten through 6th grade. So it differs where they club the 4th or 5th or 5th or 6th grades, because in some schools, in some school districts, they club 5th and 6th grades as junior high. So it varies based on the county that you're in, but doesn't matter where you are. The rule is the elementary school has to be in less than a 1 mile distance from where you live. The middle school is a 3 mile radius, I think. And then high school, of course, there is no distance restriction. So you just in the elementary school, the best thing I find here is there is a lot of communication between classroom teacher and parent. Every day, the teacher has to write a small report and send whether the child ate well, slept well, or what activities did they do. So it's a daily communication almost. And then they send newsletters weekly. So get involved, read those newsletters, take it seriously. Who will read? Oh, this is monotonous, but it's about your child's future. Whatever, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, 1 job, whatever we are working, it's for their future. We Indians cannot get rid of that mindset. It's all about our kids. So when we are investing so much money, why don't we invest some time? Time is more valuable than money. So I always say, invest your time in reading those newsletters, getting to know what's happening with your student. And instead of questioning the teacher, hey, why did you give my son or daughter low grade? No, it's not about that one grade. Talk to your kid that it is important. What happened? Why did you do bad? It's okay. Let's work together to improve your grades. So it's important to work with your child, not with the teacher. Yes, there are times when you have to meet with the teacher, but we need to focus on our child, because that's where you can have a huge impact or more impact with your actions and decisions. So always focus on your child rather than outside factors, unless there is somebody else is meddling with their growth or development. Yes. Otherwise, I always say focus on the child and give them the time, talk to them, go out on a mother-daughter date, father-daughter date, mother-son date. The date could be to a Books Million or a Starbucks. Take a book and go there. Have a cup of coffee with your child, whatever they are drinking, hot chocolate maybe. But sit there, have read together. There are so many places where you can hang out in this country, where you can read with them, or just even if you both do different things, no gadgets, just in person, in time, right there, right with them.
Got it.
Thank you,
Vanika. This
Vanika.
has been
Let's
like
go
a
with the
wonderful.
one last question. Sorry. Yeah, let's go with one
I'll
last
go for
question.
one question, Deep.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So you have mentioned about multiple tiers, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, right? So there are multiple questions asking, like, if I am an applicant, how do I know, like, where do I stand and what are the resources that will tell me what colleges to choose based on the score or whatever grades that I have?
Very good question, Andy. Unfortunately, no university ever tells a student why they got the admission or why they are rejected that admission. So it's up to us. And that is the reason why so many myths flow in our society, in our communities, because they go to one successful child's parents and say, hey, what did you do for your child? He or she got into Princeton, or he or she got into Harvard. I want to. So they put their child in the exact activities that other child has been. And that's a big no-no. Never fall, because each child is different. We all know that. It's not a Dove soap industry where you put the raw materials and everything comes in the same size, same weight, same print, same, you cannot differentiate. No, our students, our kids are different. Even as a mother, with my 2 boys, they're night and day different from each other. There is nothing to compare between them. If my own children born to same set of parents are so different, how can we expect a next door neighbor's daughter to have like same activities for my child and expect the same success rate? No, it won't be possible. So please do not do what other parents suggest you to do, or do not approach other parents, because they might or they are giving you the right information with all the right intention, but that's not pertinent or good for your son or daughter. So keep that in mind. When you talk, take everything with a grain of salt. Like, do not just, I'm not saying mistrust them. I'm saying know that your child is different from them, from their child.
Thank you, Vani Garu. I know we have a lot of questions, but yes, we'll try to host more webinars, like dwelling deep into each single topic. But Vani Garu, thanks for sharing all the your experience, your things and everything, like, answering all questions very patiently. And now I would like to request our Executive Director, Dr. Divankar Janyam Garu, to extend vote of thanks.
And thank you. And first of all, and we would like to express thanks to Dr. Vani Gadam Garu, who delivered excellent informative session on kids education. It's a very big topic. High school, middle school, everything, a lot of things are involved. So TTA Education Committee We're planning to conduct more webinars, high school, middle school, college admission, college counseling, and we're planning to do in the future. Please, possible, take a TTA membership and go to the website. TTA is a non-profit organization. We're helping many communities. We're helping in many ways: medical help, educational, financial, any help in India. We help the families. So we do support all these things. And thank you, Vani Garu, and a very educational webinar. Second thing is, I know we have received a lot of questions in YouTube and Zoom chat. So what we do, we'll compile, and definitely we answered all the questions in the TTA website. Eventually we're going to do, okay? And now I would like to thank you, my team, and everybody, my like a social media team, Bhaskar, Madhu, Deepika. They did awesome job where, arranging the webinar and everything. And first of all, we bless us, TTA have get high platform given by our American Telugu Association, TTA founder Dr. Mallareddy Garu, and the support given by our advisor council chair Harnath Garu, Dr. Mohan Garu, Dr. Vijaypal Garu, AC member, and we're very much grateful to our joint president Vamshi Reddy, and he's not available today. He's in India. He's helping the different communities, different Seva days in India. He's planning for that one. And also, I would like to thank you, our President-elect Naveen Reddy Garu. He joined the session and he gave a talk about TTA vision. And now I would like to request DN Ellen Reddy Garu, Executive President, General Secretary Kavita Garu, Joint Secretary Shiva Reddy Garu, Treasurer Sahodar Reddy, Pradeep, and Kuna Prasad, and all other executive members. And we would like to thank you, everybody, for arranging the webinar. And special thanks to our BODs, OVPs, RCs from different chapters, not to forget our attendees. Attend is very important. This is the highest number participant attend for the TTA event, and really educational webinar, very important. And we're going to conduct one more, college counseling, college guidance, and scholarships. We're planning to do in July, June, and we'll share the information. And if you become a TTA member, you will get all the events. We conduct a lot of webinars, medical webinars, financial webinars, educational webinars. And I would like to express my thanks to all the TTA members and participants for attending the webinar. I would like to thank everyone who attended the education webinar via Zoom. Thank you again. Stay safe, stay healthy. And also, important thing is, as a parent, I'm also a parent. My son, he went to business school. I know exactly how it helps business school. If you need any help for the business school, when the kids are going to college, please reach out to me. I can help you. So we work hard. We do what are the summer internship, what are the courses required for the business school. Then he succeeded and he finished 4-year undergraduate degree at Wharton Business School. He worked hard. He got exams and everything. It did work, same thing. So I have got of knowledge, business school, how to get into business school. I'll help you. Please reach out to me. I can help you. And thank you very much. And once again, thank you, Vani Garu, for your kind support and deliver the excellent informative webinar. And thanks again for all attendees. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. It's my honor.
Thank you all.
So we'll compile all the questions, and Ivani, we'll take all the questions, we'll post the website or we'll share the information, yeah. Bhaskar, can you put any question, email something? Yeah.
So I posted info@telanganaus.org, right? From there we will send it to Vani Gaddam Garu. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We'll collect all the questions and
yeah.
we'll give information.
And also, Anna, so we need to have only one question and answers webinar.
Stop.
So
Okay. YouTube stop, Jesse.
Okay.
YouTube stop.